Hey crew, it's Pitt, and I'm back. This is going to be different. We're just doing a directional video here. We're just going to talk for a little while. If you're not down with that, that's cool. But it's been a very interesting week and a half since my computer broke. I'm not really going to be able to get into reaction videos for a while because the replacement computer didn't quite work out, and I'm still working on getting my desktop repaired. I'm working off my laptop at the moment, and it's old. It will not play a video and record me at the same time. It just can't handle it. And so I can talk to y'all, and God was really kind of pulling me away anyway. We've talked about pretty much everything that we really needed to talk about in the reactions, right? We've talked about suicide, we've talked about depression and anxiety and addiction and all of these things quite extensively. We've had a lot of really good discussions about a lot of really good music. But I have a tendency to get pulled into some of the other things that are no longer going to fit quite as well because God has been talking to me a lot over this last week and a half. I did the interview with Chris, and we typed him, and things went well. I was really happy with it. He was really happy with it. And then my computer broke. And there's two ways of looking at that as far as I see it, right? I always see things as either this is God himself stopping it, and he's like, oh, nope, wrong direction, change. Or it's the enemy placing obstacles in my way, and he's like, oh, no, right stuff, change. And so I took it to God. I took it in prayer and meditation, and I spent a lot of time in prayer and meditation this last week and a half. Because I do not want to be in the wrong direction, right? I always want to move in the right direction. I don't want to mislead anybody, and I don't want to bring anybody down. And so I spent a lot of time thinking about it. And there's a couple of things that we need to talk about, right? There is no growth without change, and change is not always comfortable. The same with healing. I put up the healing tone, and one of the comments that I got was that it's abrasive, and it really is. That's intentional. I did that. It is more really, I put that up for me. I made that for me. I used that, and I put it up there so that y'all could have access to it too, because the ones who are on the level to actually use that does not have that resource available. There is no resource like it out there. It does something that nothing else does. It is an abrasive thing, but it's an debriding, if you will, decalcifying your pineal gland. It does that. There is some intentionality involved in making sure that that works in the way that I intended it, but it does work. I can attest to that because I use it. Anyway, there is no healing and there is no growth without change, and change is not always comfortable. So I'm well outside of my comfort zone. What I did with Chris was well outside of my comfort zone. I believe in stepping in faith because until you step in faith, there can be no manifestation in your life. There cannot be anything changing until you are taking the steps to change it. You can talk about it all day long. It's not going to do anything. But if you take the time to actually make the steps, to actually make it work, then it does. It does work. It does change your life. It does change your outset. It changes your mindset. It changes your outlook. It can physically manifest in your life. Y'all may not know it because I use a lot of modification on my mics, but God's been working on my voice and I'm getting it back. It's coming. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I've had some blockages that I didn't fully work through. I thought that I had worked through, and I didn't. I suppressed it in a very unhealthy way. I quit talking about things and I quit doing things that I probably shouldn't have. And so when I was doing the interview with Chris, I was actually receiving some revelations about myself through that. That is something that I'm used to. Like I can realize and internalize and empathize and all of those things to where I can see myself in your position and I can understand myself better from your position. And so helping him with the typing really helped me a good bit. It pushed me farther down this path. And let's talk about the path. Here's what's fixing to happen with the channel. There will be a lot less reactions. I'm not going to say that I'm going to completely go away from reactions because we've gotten a lot of really good discussions out of these reactions. We've talked about a lot of things, and I've touched people's lives with these reactions. I have helped people to change their lives and to see things from other ways. I've helped people to actually understand some of the things that they're going through. And I'm still receiving comments from videos from months ago of people that are still being touched by what I've done. And so I'm not going to completely pull away from that. When I get a computer that can run it, I will do reactions, but it will not be a reaction channel. It's not in that zone anymore. Things changed over the last week and a half. I'm pivoting, as I tend to do. Whenever I feel like he is leading me in a direction, I take it to him in prayer and meditation first because I want clear answers. I asked here in this last week and a half very specifically, down to calling out names that I needed the signs to directly come from, and what I needed the signs to say in order for me to take it as a confirmation. And I was very specific. And I got it, like, all the way. So I really feel like I am doing what I am being told to do. As I'm speaking, I'm covered in chills right now because I know, like, that's one of the signals that he gives us. When you're discussing something and it's real, and you feel these chills come over you, that is the Holy Spirit, that is Source, that is God, that is whatever you want to call it, telling you that you're on the right path. And as I'm talking, I'm getting that. So we're going to get a lot more intentional about what we're doing here. I do not, and I have been quite clear about not, believe in the divinity of Jesus Christ. I do believe that he was born from a virgin. I believe that he lived his life, worked his miracles, died, and was resurrected, and did all of that without ever once having to be a divine being. Isaiah agrees with me. Daniel agrees with me. Pretty much the whole Bible agrees with me. And so I'm going to go with that. I'm going to take the book as being the instruction manual for the Israelis. That's going to come as a shock to some people because I keep that book right here. It's back here actually right now. Like, you can barely see it, but it's on top of that blue folder right there. Just because I'm moving my desk around and cleaning some stuff up. But I reference that book all the time. Like, I'm always in that book. I pull it up on Bible Hub. I read it in that book. I've got several different versions. Like, I cross-reference. I do all of those things. And it doesn't say anywhere in there that Jesus was divine. But what he did tell you was that what he did, you could do. And I'm going to take him at his word. I'm going to go forth with that. But in order to do that, then I have to break from what is known as Christianity. That does not mean that I am going to worship any demons or going to start reading tarot cards. There's somebody else does that for me, and she does it very well. Thank you, Helen. If y'all don't know Angel Wing Holistics, y'all should check that out. She's very on point, and she's not really trying to do individual readings and things like that. It's more of a general sense of what whoever comes across it needs to see, and she is very on point, at least for me, in what I've needed to see over the last month and a half, 2 months since I found her channel. But I'm being very much led down a very spiritual approach to this, a chakra cleansing type of approach, a aligning the energies type of approach, a manifesting into your life type of approach, and that is none of that outside of the Bible. All of it can be found in there, but it can also be found in the other religious texts and other religious practices throughout the world. And so I'm going to take what I have received from God as a direct confirmation, right? It's not him saying, hey, Pitt, by the way, this was me asking specifically for specific signs that were specifically filled, and not in a wishy-washy, well, maybe I can read it that way. Specifically, very specifically. And so I'm on the right path with this. We're going to start doing an integration of the spirituality and the MBTI stuff. Because what I got, like the day before I did the interview with Chris, like I really jumped into that a little bit too early, simply because it came to me and it was right. And I worked it in without really working it in the process that I use, because I verify a couple of different ways before I give it to y'all. And in order to make sure that I'm not giving out some bunk information, but the 8 integration is really, really where I'm being led. And so we're going to work on how to 8-step integrate yourself, how to fully incorporate all of the MBTI into yourself. And this will be a reference and a guide and all of these things so that when things change, and they will, it's not what some religions have been looking for, but there is something coming. There is an absolute change. There's people on the spirituality side who are a little bit optimistic on what it's going to be, I think. It will be close to anarcho-capitalism simply because there will be a lot less people. I'm going to try to get y'all a reference book. I'm going to put this into book form as well as videos so that you can have this available when the technology is gone. Whenever the video is gone and whenever the electricity is gone, you'll be able to still apply these principles in the restructuring of a society, because that's what's coming. And so that's where I'm going with this. We're gonna look very much at meditations and why they work. We're gonna look very much at what the chakras are and how they work, why it's misconceived. Like there's a bit of a misconception about the chakras because everything seems to focus on 7, and that makes absolute sense. 7 is a divine number of completion, but it's not including the divine. You have a base chakra, sacral chakra, the solar plexus, the heart, throat, third eye, crown. But there's one more just above your head, about a foot. And that's the divine access. That is how he communicates with you. He goes from here into here and then through there. And so that is where we're going to be focused. We're going to see a little bit about how the stack is and how it can be inverted and how that can be useful, because this resource is not available. And so I'm going to fill a gap. I'm going to fill a hole. And it's really, really helpful. There's a lot of you who are not going to hang around, and I'm sorry for that. Be blessed. I love you, and I will continue to pray for you every single day. Always remember that you are worthy, whole, and complete in yourself. Believe that. God made you that way. But you're not going to like to hang around because I'm not going to be talking as much about some of the other things. We're not going to be doing a lot of the music. I'm sorry. I just got pulled away. We're going to be dealing more with the psychological issues because that's what I started this channel for. YouTube is pushing me away from reactions. If you haven't noticed, pay attention. If you watch reactors, and if you're on my channel, you probably do, at least at this point, have you noticed how much music they've been reacting to lately? Have you noticed which music they've been reacting to lately? And I'm talking about some of the big ones, some of the people with hundreds of thousands of followers. They're getting away from the new music because YouTube is pushing us away from the music. Between the copyright issues, which I understand why that happens, and I don't fight it. Some of you are artists, possibly, and just so you know that if I did fight for the copyright, which is a possibility, I would win because everything I do is covered under fair use. I add value. I don't just pirate your stuff. There are some out there that do. But for the most part, these reaction channels are really good about not just pirating stuff. Some of these streamers are bad about it. They do that. They really do that. Like Asmongold, yeah. A lot of these reactors are not really honest with you about what's going on. Some of them are getting paid for their reviews, and some of them are doing some shady stuff. A lot of them are lying to you and race baiting you and doing things like that. And we've talked about all that extensively too. But YouTube is disincentivizing reaction. That's why everybody's moving. That's why you see LFR is looking more at Jordan Peterson and Blexit and Candace Owens and all of that because that's not under copyright. Then that's why you see Half and Jay are moving away. That's why you see all these reaction channels moving away. They're just not as open about it as I am. And that's not by any means casting aspersions on them. I love Van. I watch Van all the time. I love Half and Jay. I love, there's so many reaction channels that I watch all the time. If I called them all out by name, then we would be here forever. But they are being pushed away. They're just not telling you that. They're just trying to naturally pivot. I'm more of a blunt person. I like to tell you what's going on. I am going to be doing more of my own content, and it won't be copyrightable, right? Because I'm creating my own stuff. The reactions were always intended to help draw the audience big enough to where I could actually make the algorithm. And so that's what we're doing. Like, we were there now. We can actually make the algorithm. We can actually make a little bit of income. Like, income's a real thing that I need too. Really. And so we're pivoting. And that's what this has been about. Like, this is what we're talking about. I know I'm rambling a little bit now. I really, honestly, just want to help people. That has been what I've tried to do. I know that some of y'all have picked up on that, but some of y'all haven't. Some of y'all are like, it's crazy. Like, people don't like me to stop and talk in a reaction video. It's like, bro, you are on the wrong channel. The only reason I do reactions is so that I can talk about the stuff they bring up. Like, that's the only reason. I love seeing the music. I love these independent artists. I'm still going to help them every chance I can. I'm still going to push Demon Jones. I'm still going to push ACAL. I'm still going to push Just Pierre. I'm going to be pushing all of these guys as much as I can because I believe in what they're doing. I believe in breaking down the industry. I believe in talking about real things. But we're disincentivized. Like, most of my videos are ineligible for monetization. And I knew that going in because it was never my intention to be just a reaction channel. I wanted to grow my crew enough talking about real issues so that when I make the transition that we're making now, y'all would come with me and we would continue the voyage because that's what we're doing. We're taking a trip, right? This is a voyage. Y'all are the crew. We are going somewhere. And where we're going is better than where we were. But there is no change unless there is choice. You have to choose to change, and you have to make the effort. You have to lean in. You have to take the step of faith. You have to jump. You cannot continue to make the same choices and expect a different result. If you are doing the same thing, you are going to get the same result. So, I don't like dealing, for a large part, with talking about specific sins because sin is subjective. It is, you know what the sin is to you. There are universals, right? Like, if you kill somebody, yeah, still all the ones listed in the 10. But there's a lot of wiggle room. God is not going to condemn you to hell because you drink a beer. He's not going to condemn you to hell because you smoke a cigarette. But if you are feeling convicted to change that and you don't change that, you can't blame him for that, right? You are continuing to stay in that spot. I am no longer continuing to stay in this spot. I'm making a positive change in my life. I am manifesting something new. We're going to write a book. We're going to tell you people how to help themselves using the system that, like the MBTI, I didn't create that. It came from Myers-Briggs. It came from Carl Jung. It's been refined by other people. But the way that I put it together, the way that I do my diagnostics, which it is a diagnostic to type someone, the way that I do that is through logic. It is through processing, and it's consistent. There's a lot of misinformation about MBTI and a lot of woo-woo. And at the same time that I'm talking about incorporating spirituality, I'm taking the woo-woo out of the MBTI because this is a holistic approach. This is all together. You cannot separate the information that you receive from the divine source that gives it to you. You can't do that. And until you recognize that and incorporate that, you can't move forward. But we're about to move forward. We're going to talk about, this is my plan, right? I'm just cluing y'all in. It's going to take me a little while. This computer is slow. And so I have to build all my graphics from scratch. I have to do everything again and I am not inclined in that direction. I am not a graphic in like the graphics. Graphics are not great for me. I have aphantasia, so I can't literally visualize anything. I can know what it's supposed to be. I can know, like when I do meditations, I can't. Everybody's like, walk down the steps, and it's like, there ain't no steps, bro. I got a blank screen right here. So I had to learn a whole new way to do that. All right, I'm getting off track here. I wanted to give y'all an update, let you know what's going on. There is a lot of changes coming. Chris, I have not forgot about you. I'm going to email you here in a little bit. We're going to get something set up for that. We're going to do the follow-up on that because that is important. But I'm going to do a video, probably the first video that is type-specific will be the one for Chris. Simply because we've started something, and I don't want something to happen to me and it not be able to be finished. So we're going to start there. That will be the first actual typing. What is this type and how to incorporate video? But first, we're going to talk about the chakras and how they align and those type of things too. So there's a lot of content coming. I promise you that. I am fixing to get back on my grindstone. I took the time to make sure that this is where I was really being led and not just somewhere that I wanted to go, right? Because part of me does want to go this way, but I think that part of me was just him talking to me before I was ready, right? Because you have to be ready for the change before the change can come. If you are standing on the edge and trying to figure out whether to change or not, like yesterday, I kind of scared my wife a little bit. She's like, what are you thinking about? I was like, whether I want to continue existence or not. And looking back, I can understand how that can be a little bit distressing, but like I'm not suicidal. Those days are beyond me. Like I'm past the days of despair. I'm past the days of addictions, and I'm past the days of a lot of things, but I'm still working on things. I'm still working on my anger issues. I'm still working on my fixation issues because I'm an NI dominant. So I fixate on my one thing. I'm all in or I'm not in. And so I'm working on that. I'm incorporating these things as I learn them. I am learning something new. I have been learning something new for the last week and a half. I am going to be conveying something to you that is new. There are several steps involved in this that have been discussed extensively by other people. Very well. There are meditations that you can do. I'm probably not going to do a guided meditation, right? There are several other people that can get you there, but we are going to talk about meditation and why it works, how it works, and those type of things. And there are people out there with bad information. There are bad people, like not intentionally bad. For the most part. I mean, there's some out there that are just trying to take advantage of something, but these people are working off the best part of their knowledge, but they are doing so aggressively anti-God, right? They're anti-Christians with the way that they're doing it. Jesus told you to pray and meditate. So if you're a Christian and you're worried about that, I'm not trying to separate that. Like, I believe in God. God is mine. Like, God has saved me from myself in a very real way, in a way that Jesus did not. We talked about that. I've done a video on that. God changed my life, and I'm trying to bring the focus back on Him. I'm trying to do that in a way that He has shown me, in a way that He has allowed me to help myself with. And this new thing really does take it to a whole nother level. This integration of the chakras is really a mind-blowing way of looking at it. It really helped me already in the last week and a half. It called me out on some things that I thought were okay, that are really not okay. And I thought I was good, right? I'm thinking I'm good now. I'm probably not. I know I still got some stuff to work on. My anger stuff. I know I got that to work on. So, but I'm going to also try not to do a lot of other things. I'm going to try not to share as much about the political side of things. I have been quite open about where I stand on things. I'm not changing that. I still believe in freedom. I still believe in anti-tyranny. I do not believe in anarcho-capitalism, communism, socialism, any of those isms. I don't like any isms, pretty much. I'm not a fan of racism. I'm not a fan of sexism. I don't like any of the isms. So we're going to try and peel myself away from some of these isms, and some of those isms actually include patriotism to a certain extent. Like, I love my country, I love everything about my country, but the direction it went in, right? But I'm going to be less, we need to do drastic things in order to change things. I'm going to focus more on what I can actually do, right? What these hands can do, what this mind can do. I can work locally. I can do things with people I know. I can pray. I can meditate. I can manifest energy in that direction. And that's what I'm about to do. That's what I've been doing for the last week for sure. And we're diving in, like full in. I'm either all in or I'm all out. And right now, I'm all in on this. So we're going to see y'all. We're going to be seeing y'all a lot. But like I said, I'm probably going to lose a good bit of y'all. And I hate that. I do. Like, I love my crew. I pray for y'all every single day. Multiple times a day normally. Like, I think about it. I'm like, oh, yeah, let's pray for the crew. I do that because if you're here, God called you here. But some people are going to be very uncomfortable with this. I understand that. I will still be praying for you. I will. I hope it doesn't like precipitously drop off where I have no more incentive to do this, but I don't think so. I think the reason that the growth has been stagnated, the reason for the strikes is because I was not following the direction I was supposed to. Well, that tends to happen. All right, let's wrap this up. I wanted to let y'all know what was going on. I wanted to let you know things are different now. Things are changing. My voice is coming back. That is working because I'm working with this throat chakra. I'm working on clearing that very specifically because it's time. And so I wanted to let you know what we were doing. I wanted to make sure you knew I was still around. I have not forgot about you, and I am still praying for you every single day. I still appreciate every single minute that you are with me. And I'm going to make it a lot more value included now. We're going to make it a lot more. There will be a lot less videos. There will not be 4 videos a day, but I am going to shoot for 1 a day. I'm going to have to do the graphics editing, so it might be 1 every other day. But I'm going to try and get it to where we can actually talk about what these things are, how they work, and what they mean, how you can practically use them in your life. I'm going to start trying to write this book as we go along so that I can get you a physical resource to hold in your hand. That's important. I am going to have to sell it because I have to make a living. Somehow that's what I'm trying to do with my life, is to find a way to make a living. I don't feel guilty for that. I don't feel guilty for trying to sell t-shirts. I don't feel guilty for monetizing YouTube. Like, I've never monetized a Bible study, but all of the rest of my stuff I've tried to monetize because this is a grind. I am trying to make money. Money is needed as of now until there's the actual change. We need money to affect change. And I can't change anything, even my own life, without some kind of income. So I don't feel guilty about that. A lot of people are going to try to be like, oh, you're just a shill. Oh, you're just trying to make money. And I'm not just trying to make money. I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to help me. And if I can make some money along the way, that's cool. I'm not a greedy man. I can really live in a tent in the woods and be content. I really can. So I appreciate every single minute that you were here with me. I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, this has been Pit State. Peace.